Hey guys, today we're going to carry on with the English Premier League project and we're going to talk about calculating running points totals. Obviously after each match, the total points that team has scored within the season will increase or stay the same as the case may be. Now, I will confess that this did baffle me for some time within DAX. Hopefully the approach I take on running totals will make life a bit clearer for everyone concerned. So we look at the table itself. We can see that we've got lots of matches that take place on lots of dates for lots of teams, and just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to sort the teams ascending. Now, if we look at this field here, we've got 22nd of January, and then the 27th of August, and then 17th of September. They're not even in order at all. But to be honest, it doesn't really, for the purposes of this calculation, it doesn't really matter that much. So I'm going to take the example. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the table and show you within Excel the idea of what we're going to be looking to do. So if I just pop that in there, we can see all of the matches and so on. It can ignore this match category thing. That's just Excel being funny. And I'm going to filter all the data, and what we're going to do is we will look at just Arsenal for argument's sake. So we're only looking at Arsenal, and if, for example, we were wanting to know the points for Arsenal on the 27th of August, then what we would effectively be doing, we would be filtering by date to, in fact, I'm going to go date filters. So before is before or equal to 27th of August 2016. So we know that by the 27th of August 2016 they had 4 points scored at that point in time, and obviously we can filter that, to later dates and so on. But that's the general principle. I guess if I was to change it slightly, before or equal to, and then maybe say something like, I don't know, 27th of December, say, then we would expect their points at that point in time to be 37. And really, all we're going to do is introduce that sort of logic into DAX. So what I'm going to do on this occasion is introduce a calculated column. I'm fairly sure we could get away with a measure on this, but I think that the accountant in me likes to be able to see the column and so on. So new column. So what we're going to do, we're going to call it running points total equals, we're going to use the calculate function. So I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail on these functions, but I will refer you to the excellent videos by Ruth at Curbal. So what we're going to do is do calculate, and we're going to do the sum of the points. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this. We're going to build this formula up. So first off, it's not going to be terribly useful because it's not doing a running points total at all. It's just a repeat of what we've got here. So that's not working. Okay. Well, what can we do with that then? Well, what we looked at before is that we needed to look at the whole table. So let's just go put a filter. No, in fact, if we just go, let's pop a filter in, and we filter all. In fact, if we just go all, which will look at the table, and we're going to see all of the points for all of the teams for the entire season. So, well, that's not going to do us any good. But we're going to start to build this query up. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, well, actually, I'm only interested in Arsenal. So let's just do it so that we're only looking at Arsenal. So we're going to say where the team equals, and this is this is a bit funny, but this is how we need to work this formula, and it's just imagine it as a pattern each time. So we need this earlier function to look outside the line that we're interested in at the moment. So this earlier function helps us out. So earlier team, close the brackets, and what we should be looking at is what we're looking at here. Yes, we're looking at Arsenal, but further on you can see Bournemouth have got, but this is the season points. That's no good to us. So what we need to do now is we need to do another filter where we look at the dates. So in fact, we look at date, and not like that. So have a quick look at this. Okay, so comma PL results date is less than or equal to earlier. This helps us point to the correct date on the correct line, and we're going to PL results date, and it is a bit peculiar, but this is what you need to do to make it work. So what we've got to now is within a few clicks, we're now looking at the points by reference to the correct date for the correct team. So if we look at this one, 6th of November, what it's effectively saying, by the 6th of November, they got to 24 points. So we have our running total over here, and we need to really prove that it's doing what it says on the tin. So what I'm going to do is just pop a quick bit of row level security onto this. So I'm going to manage roles. Here it comes, or not, as the case may be. Good. Okay, let's create a role. There's PL results table. Click on the ellipses, add filter to the team, and we want the team to be Arsenal. And then we are going to say OK to that. And then we're going to view as roles, and well, that's my new role. I didn't name it correctly, but that's the Arsenal role. So what that is doing is only showing us the Arsenal games, of which they've had 35. Well, that makes sense. So we're only looking at Arsenal, and I'm now going to sort it ascending. So what we should see is the points building up over time, and they do indeed build up over time. And yeah, interestingly, they lost their first match, and you can see the points building up correctly. So I think I'm reasonably comfortable that it's doing what it says on the tin at that point in time. So moving back, we are still looking at this as that particular role. So what we'll find is when we look on this page, our points will only show Arsenal, which for the purposes of this exercise isn't too bad. So what I'm going to do is pop in another tab. In fact, I'm going to stop viewing this. So that means we're going to look at all the teams, and I am going to put in a line chart. Here we're going to have the date on the axis, and I'm going to click the down button and only look at date because the year, quarter and so on aren't very interesting to me. We are going to put the running points total on values, and we are going to put the team into the legend, and I think in this case the legend would be better off on the left hand side, so we are going to go to format legend and position it on the left, which is a bit better. Okay, so that's it's kind of interesting. And if we look at Arsenal itself, it sort of filters it down, but it's not great, to be honest. This is quite an interesting chunk of the season because this is where they made absolutely no progress whatsoever. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to throw in a filter, and I'm going to do it as a team filter, pop that in there, and then this is effectively doing the same thing as our row level security did. So this is the nasty part of the season. So basically from the 11th of February to the 2nd of April, they made hardly any progress. It went from 50 points to 51 points. So this is what killed their season. And obviously, if we look at the whole chart itself, it is a bit more difficult to see. And what we'll come on to how we chunk this up differently. So yeah, looking at this, they weren't too bad at that point in time, but the gap just spread at that point, and they had a good end to a reasonable end to the season, but it was all a bit too late. So I hope you found that useful. As I say, it was a reasonably tricky piece of code, and I will make references to the detailed tuition that Ruth has done further on in the description to the video. Well, thanks very much, and see you next time. Bye.